Get It was released today, so I thought it might be a good time, music lovers, to have a chat with one David Coverdale. But first, let's have a track for the new album. It's called Would I Lie to You?
Hey girl, if you want me, come and get me.
Right, David, how long did it take you to work on the brand new album, Come and Get It?
Well, over a concentrated period. It was like a 6-month span with little moments in the studio, moments in America and the rest of the world. All in all, about 4 weeks, but it was spread over a 6-month period.
Were there great moments of frustration at all?
Oh, yeah. I don't particularly like to work, and neither do the boys, you know, with that kind of mental pressure. But I think pressure's good for rock and roll.
What do you think the pressures did for you this time? What do you think they made you bring out that is perhaps a little new on this new album?
Well, I'm not sure whether it's at the risk of having my throat cut and my legs broken and thrown into the Thames. I don't think there's anything new. I think it's just like an extension of the band being stronger as a unit. And I think the songs and the playing is more together, a little more mature. We're growing up, you know, it's good. But I don't think we're going to challenge any contemporary art fashions.
Can you kind of elaborate on saying, like, we're growing up? In what way do you think?
Well, we're learning together. It's the only way I think you get mature is from your experiences. And we're learning more and more about each other as musicians, as songwriters, you know, as individuals and stuff. And I think it's coming out in the songs, and I think it sounds a stronger unit altogether, a complete unit.
Do you ever feel yourself that the Purple thing is sort of now defunct and gone, or do you? Who? Yeah. Or do you think it's, you know, the vibes are still there? I mean, you're surrounded by Pacey and Laurie, for instance.
Yeah, it's to be perfectly honest, sort of the professional thing and the experience that we learned with Purple is obviously gone into Whitesnake, but it really is a new thing altogether. And John, Ian and myself are exactly the same as Bernie, Mickey and Neil.
I mean, when you were with Purple, you were called the loudest rock band in the world.
We're still loud.
Yes.
Dear God.
You're still loud, but I wouldn't think that you're as loud as Purple. I would think you're a more driving force than being loud. Would you agree with that or not?
Yes, I know. Rather than getting to sort of analysis, I think probably Whitesnake are louder than Purple. At the time, Purple was measured in the Guinness Book of Records as the loudest band in the world. A lot of equipment, probably the Stray Cats are louder than Deep Purple now. I don't know.
Having made the new album, you're about to go off on tour. Now, how does the adrenaline react now to going out on the road again?
More so than ever with Purple, with all due respect to people who hold Purple in awe. There's more responsibility now. It's like proving yourself all over again. And the hunger of this band is paramount to anything else. There's very little sort of ego play going down. Whereas with Purple, there was a lot of egos involved, like 5 individuals fighting for the spotlight.
David, when you left Purple, did you feel that you were sort of stripped of a status? I mean, did you feel that you were naked, in fact?
That didn't come for about 6 months after, when I wasn't getting any calls. Yeah, I moved to Munich.
How did that affect you when all of a sudden there weren't the phone calls coming in?
Well, what happened, Alan, was that the situation was that I was contractually tied up to that huge Purple organization, which was no longer a group. It was a huge company, a corporation. And considering it was built on 5 guys playing music, it turned into a huge warehouse company, conglomerate, industrial, you know what I mean? It was, and it's still going on. It's still a trading company, as they call it at accounts meetings. But it was coming out of that kind of thing was strange, because everybody had been led to believe that it was one huge family and everybody was the same and stuff like that. And I was left on the shelf, contractually in limbo for 2.5 years, denied live performance.
You know, David, I mean, Purple and Whitesnake, etc., have this legion of fans, and they always read in papers about the split of a band that seems to eventually or inevitably happen. But they never really quite know the reasons. What are some of the reasons that make bands split up? I mean, can you give us some of the policy?
Yeah, well, I'm not interested in washing dirty laundry.
No, right.
You know, because I don't believe people should be given all that kind of thing. If people enjoy something, that's terrific. I don't want to do a News of the World expose. I'm saving that for when I stop selling records. But at the moment in time, the only analogy I can give really is that in a band, it's very much like being married, you know. you get to know somebody very, very closely, and you either enjoy those people very much, the little idiosyncrasies and things and day-to-day living, and you like those things, and you continue staying together. Or after living together on a concentrated basis, there's certain things that annoy you, and you have to make a decision, right, we stay together for the sake of the money in terms of a group, or the child in terms of a marriage, or go your separate ways. And it was like, I don't mind being called a whore, but I draw the line at prostitute,
Yes, sure.
So I wasn't having a good time, so I got out.
When you formed Whitesnake initially, was it rough? I mean, was it tough for you to take notice of, or
No,
what?
the only people who took notice were the kids, and those are the people I owe the debt to, and I hope never to let down. I owe very little allegiance to the media, with all due respect to yourself, because we were treated like some kind of bastard child, like coming out 10 years too late, when it was the kids in the theatres that we played in to sell out houses who were being treated or ignored. And I think we've been proved right. It wasn't a matter of good timing or anything like that, but we had no help up the ladder apart from the people in the audience. Initially, a lot of people were expecting a kind of Deep Purple Chapter 10, which, although a lot of the music is similar, like our, like love hard rock, I didn't really want to restrict my writing or the musicians involved to just sort of high-powered rock and roll. Like, I love soul music and rhythm and blues music, and I wanted to try and get everything under a common umbrella of creativity. If you can, God, I sound like John Anderson. Leave it out. Yeah. No, just a good rock and roll band where you can do anything, and where if you pick up a Whitesnake album, there's going to be a common denominator of R&B or good physical rock and roll, but there's going to be a little more thought, a little more soul injected there. And like the biggest surprise in the world to me, and the most welcome surprise, is when people started turning into audiences, started turning into choirs, because like people sing along with songs like Ain't No Love in the Heart of the City, which is an old blues tune, and I mean it's like one of our sort of rock and roll anthems now, and it's beautiful to hear these people jumping about and singing out. It's a soul song because people do have the blues, and they take part in it, and you don't have to just turn up maximum 600 watts of amps and insult people with da 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 all the time and poke them in the eyes. Play the heartstrings sometimes.
David, hold on, we'll come back to you in just a minute. Back with David Coverdale on the Monday Rock Show on Capital Radio. Have you ever thought at any part of your career that you would like to be a classical musician yourself, perhaps after finishing with rock, if ever you do?
When I first started secondary modern school, I picked up the violin. I went to one class and had so many fights at the first playtime, defending my sexual honour. I knocked it on the head and turned to the guitar. Yeah.
Talking about being a sexual object, and
I led you on to this.
Yes, all the lyrics, or most of the lyrics in a lot of your songs, they're
not insulting to women.
Do they reflect your own life at all?
Oh, yeah, everything I write is about my own experiences. I would never presume to write about an experience I had no an observation that I didn't have any experience in. If I write a song that's negative about a woman or a person or a situation, it's because at that moment that was negative to me. There are certain things I've written in songs which I regret now. But at that time...
Such as, can you tell us?
A song called Lady Double Dealer on the Stormbringer album with Deep Purple. At the time, and for probably 2 years after that, was a totally 100% commitment about somebody I'd been involved with who took advantage very severely of my emotions. But now I look back at it and go, it's a bit hard. You know what I mean? Perhaps you mellow out in your old age.
Let's go to Come and Get It, the brand new album.
Another subtle title. Yeah.
A song called Wine, Women and Sun. I found these lyrics very interesting. I ain't an educated man, as all you Fleet Street preachers know.
Well, that's a tongue-in-cheek sort of dig at the press, because I set myself on a pedestal for it, presumably. Yeah. And certainly in the last year, when people have been able to use four-letter expletives in weekly newspapers, I thought, why not, use, what I've got to have a little dig back. But I didn't sort of sell Whitesnake, or it's just entirely Whitesnake. It's a little statement saying, a dig, because I am an educated man. I am quite an intelligent man. and most of the journalists I meet, at the end of it, perhaps feel, that I'm not the kind of male chauvinist pig they thought originally.
Wine, Women and Song, and Mr. David Coverdale, and the album Come and Get It. And we'll be back with David Coverdale in just a minute. A couple of rumours that you may appear at Donington, Castle Donington, yeah?
Yeah, unfortunately at this moment, it is rumour. I have a feeling that may be the only opportunity we have of playing the UK before Christmas, or before the end of '82, after our British tour. I'm probably speaking out of school. I think there's talking going down about it, but there's nothing confirmed at this moment. I would like to go out and do it, but at this moment in time, there's nothing confirmed.
David, of the new bands around, who do you enjoy most?
It's difficult, actually. I'm very disappointed with this supposed heavy metal revival or whatever, because there's a great lack of identity, and it sounds 10 years old, probably sounds a little fresher because of the recording techniques that have improved since then. But the themes all seem to be the same. I still enjoy listening to the blues very much. I listen to a lot of coloured artists, not disco at all. But there again, I can't make a sweeping statement about it. As long as music is entertaining to people and people can identify with this, that and the other, then that's fine. I don't want to say that this artist is bad or that artist is bad.
I noticed that on this album you've kept the tracks relatively small. There are no marathon tracks. Was there any particular reason for that?
Yeah, I think that kind of self-indulgent business, if you're going to mess with that, you do it in concert, but don't forget the audience is sitting there or standing there wanting to be entertained, and I think the days of 20-minute swapping solos of musicians is gone, even though I find, and my musicians find, it's much more interesting if you do a solo within the context of a song. That's why we've got 10 tracks on the new album. That's not like quantity or give them as much as possible. They're good tunes, and the instrumentalists get the cookies off, within the concept and context of those songs.
I did also hear a rumour about 7 or 8 weeks ago. Somebody said to me, I've heard on the quiet, shh, you know who, that Deep Purple are going to reform. Would there ever be chance of that?
8 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Good Lord, no. I certainly wouldn't be interested, contrary to what certain former colleagues, and not colleagues, but involved with the same group, have been saying. I've poo-pooed the idea to continue with your shush, wink, wink, not as good as a wink to a blind bat.
Yeah.
I'm not interested at all. I think it would be a dreadful financial exercise rather than a musical exercise, and insulting to all the people who followed the band and still do follow the band, and what it represented. I think it would be insulting to them to get together just for the financial business.
And having been through that financial business once or twice even, you now want to concentrate obviously on music.
Well, I did then. It's just that you get caught up sometimes. You start generating money, although it's necessary to make money to pay for your expenses, which are enormous expenses. It's necessary to generate money. But if that's the precedent, then I think the audience are clever enough and astute enough to suss that you're... That's when I say that whore and prostitute, and draw the line, You know what I mean? Because I'm selling myself by being on stage, but it's not necessary. It's a fortunate incidental that I get paid for it.
Yeah, sure. David, let's go back to the song from Come and Get It, Till the Day I Die. I'd like to quote some lyrics to you.
That's one of my favourite songs. Actually.
Really? Yeah. Slowly I awaken to the weaver's plan for me to drift upon the waters of my own uncertainty.
Yeah.
Is there anything uncertain about you at the moment?
Oh yeah, 100%. Until I actually get to equate that to a live performance, until I actually get into the show, I'm as nervous as, like on my first date or whatever, if I can remember that far back.
Let's hear a bit of this uncertainty. Hold on.
Yeah, I like this song.
Till the Day I Die from Come and Get It from Whitesnake. David, we're going to wish you very best of luck on the tour. And I know that secretly, with all the fears, you're looking forward to it anyway.
Oh, immensely, yeah. Because of my nerves and the butterflies before a show doesn't mean to say I'm not the arrogant bugger that everyone recognises at the end of the show. Yeah.
There's nothing like a bit of arrogance. It goes a long way sometimes.
Yeah, as long as you remember that when you come off the stage, that, to take your platform heels off.
I also believe that you're going to bundle something up for us for Help a London Child, is that right?
Yeah.
What are you going to do for us?
I don't know, we've just been talking about it, and I think we'll try and get some kind of hamper together for you with loads of bits and pieces, like tickets to one of the shows, and a full collection of Whitesnake albums and things, stuff that hasn't been previously available over in this country, and see if we can get the guys out of bed to sign them, and just any bits and pieces, T-shirts and stuff like that we can think of, you know. It might not sound a great sacrifice, but I think it might mean something to somebody.
Right. David, thanks for coming to the rock show on a Monday night on Capital Radio.
My pleasure.
Good luck on the tour.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you around.
Great.